Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here today. The time has finally come. It finally has come. This literally feels like this has taken forever, but this is the Midi Retro review. I finally got this baby in my hands, and I will tell you guys, there was a story to get this little guy. But anyways, in today's video, I'm gonna be telling you guys so many details on this. And we also have some amazing gossip. So there's some chisme in this video. So I'm so excited to be sharing that with you guys. And I'll get into all of this stuff. We've got swatches, comparisons. I'm gonna go over everything that I possibly can, everything that you guys told me that you wanted to know. If you guys are staring at this amazing jewelry that I have on right now, it is all from Luisa, and they are kindly sponsoring today's video. They sent over these amazing pieces to me. I'm obsessed with this 3-piece necklace. It's literally 3 different necklaces, and you can wear them individually. So you can mix and match. You could do more of a simple look, more of a layered look, and I'm obsessed with it. It also has that coin idea that's like super in right now. They also sent over these amazing stud earrings, but what I love about these is it goes all the way around. So this is like a 360 stud. This is the most beautiful thing. It almost just looks like a circle on your ears. So beautiful, so timeless, so classic. I'll show you guys some close-ups and as well as the amazing hoops that they sent over. They sent over these like rectangular little hoops that are just amazing and so in style, and I'm obsessed with their stuff. All of their stuff starts at like $39. They have sustainable jewelry. All the stuff they sent over is so stunning and such good quality. It's weighty. It's really, really nice. And they did give me a coupon code for you guys. If you guys are interested in shopping Ana Luisa, they gave me a 10% coupon code for you guys. It's Christina Brooke 10. I will go ahead and put it up on the screen. If you guys are interested in buying anything from the Ana Luisa website, I'm going to link everything down below. Also, the pieces that I'm wearing are 14 karat gold plated. They're just kind of stunning. So if you guys are in the hunt for some really cool, beautiful jewelry pieces, I am going to go ahead and link their website down below as well as my coupon code and everything. So now let's start getting into the retro from Natasha. Oh my gosh, guys, there's so much in this video. I feel like I should start off with the gossip. Like, I feel like you guys might really want to know this information. If you guys aren't following me already, I have a whole series on my channel. I'm buying everything from Natasha Denona for an entire year, and every single month I try to give you guys some gossip. But I figured I should share this in the Midi Retro review because it's just too good. So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek, and I'm going to give it to you guys right now. And that is that Natasha Denona was doing a live, and one of my amazing internet detectives tagged me in the live, and she said that she saw that a lot of people were upset that Midi Retro was not green and that there was no green in it. And she did say, I hear you, I heard you, I had a vision for what I wanted this one to look like, but if you trust her, then you know that she will come through. And she said that retro has not ended. So next year, there's supposed to be another retro releasing next year, and it's most likely going to have greens if you read between the lines of what she was saying. That is amazing news for anybody who translated mini retro into big retro and thought it was going to have greens. She basically said she was doing it for us. So I'm excited to see where this is going. This is going to be like Pat McGrath's Divine Rose, where she said, you know what, you guys liked it a lot. I'm going to do it again, and do it again, do it again. So let's see how many retros we get, but I hope that the next one is exactly what she's saying. So I'm so excited for that. So that is my big chisme for you guys. There's going to be more that we're going to talk about in One Year, One Brand. So if you want to hear more and more chisme about Natasha, more gossip, then don't forget to hit subscribe and join the family so that you never miss a new update. But anyways, let's get into the Midi Retro review. So if you guys have not seen it yet, it does look like this. My palette did arrive to me a little bit on the later side. I did pay for it expedited shipping from the Natasha Denona website, but because of the hurricane, it did get a little delayed, but I was able to go to my FedEx and pick this up so that I wouldn't have to wait till Tuesday to show you guys this palette. So this is the Midi Retro. This is the new palette launch from Natasha Denona. This is the Midi version of the Mini Retro. So if you guys picked up the Mini Retro, this is the Midi version of it, and it's retailing at $65, and it's available right now at Sephora. You are getting a bunch of different types of textures in here. Right now I'm going to show you guys daylight swatches and also the palette under daylight. A lot of you guys were really requesting seeing this under daylight. You really wanted to see the hues a little bit better. So here are swatches and here's the palette under daylight. This is basically what it looks like. It looks very close to these images that you're about to see right now. And in person, it's a beautiful palette. Based off of my Make Up Your Mind results, it's basically what I thought it was going to be. I'm not surprised by this palette whatsoever. The only thing that did surprise me a little bit, this beautiful shade here in the center. I knew it was going to be similar to the one in the Mini Retro, but this is absolutely stunning, and I think it's a perfected version of the one that's in the Mini Retro. It's a beautiful, almost like pale pink with all of these amazing little glitters inside of it. I just think it's such a refined shade. It just looks really, really stunning. And when you guys get this palette, if you guys get this palette, you guys will see how absolutely gorgeous it is. Other than that, the rest of the shades are very, very pretty. They're within color story. And also, if you have the Lila palette, she does mention that there is 3 colors from Lila. So the color Amara right here, this is a repeat from Lila. The color Helio right here, this is a repeat from Lila. And finally, Nude Mauve is a repeat from Lila. So these 3 shades, if you have the Lila palette, these are repeated shades. Now, she did say that the reason she repeated them is because Lila is discontinued, and I'm figuring that means that we're never going to be able to get Lila again. And she didn't want to lose those colors out of her line because she really, really liked them. So she decided to include them here. So just so you know, those 3 shades are repeated from Lila. There is a lot of her creamy matte formula in here, okay? So if you were not a huge fan of the creamy matte formula, there's a lot in here. So I'm pretty sure, just looking at this palette and knowing her formula, I'm pretty sure Andy is one, Vivian is one, Opart is one, Go-Go and Rebellion is one. So those are the ones that I believe for sure are the creamy matte formula. The regular mattes are Groove, Nude Mauve, and Amara and Mod. Those are the regular mattes. So there's more of the creamy matte formula than the actual matte formula in this palette. So just keep that in mind. I will say I did play with it today. All of the lighter shades in the creamy matte formula, I feel like they blended beautifully. The only one, it's not that it blended bad, the only one that I feel like was a little bit trickier is Rebellion. Now, Rebellion does come off a lot more red on the lid than it comes out in this pan. So you will see in my demo when I do try it on, I kind of went like, ooh, that's kind of red. So this color here, because it's so dark and because it is her creamy matte formula, I didn't love it as much as I like Groove. Groove to me was just impeccable. Groove is what I put on my whole outer edge. It is what I smoked out like to the gods. I feel like Groove was insanely good, and I feel like Rebellion was okay, but I do know that Andy, Vivian, and Go-Go worked awesome and they blended really, really easily. So for those of you asking if the creamy matte formula is like her other palettes, I actually feel like this is an improvement on it. I actually think that they blended a little bit better, and it also could just be that the lighter shades usually work a little bit better in the creamy matte formula, because when you're using darker shades, you just really need to blend them out really, really easily. And I think since the creamy matte is so pigmented and it kind of gets put in place and then blends out, you can have a harder time with the darker shades than the lighter shades. That's been my experience, and I feel like it kind of carried on into this one as well. Other than that, the metallics in here are very, very pretty. I will point out one more thing. The other thing I want to point out about the metallics is I do feel like in here she used a little bit more subtle metallics. When it comes to Patty and when it comes to Swing, these two, in my opinion, are just a little bit more subtle for Natasha. More subtle, they're not as high impact. It could also just be the tone of the color, but they don't have as much as like that glittery reflectiveness or that real vibrancy to them. The one that does have it is Jade. Jade is insanely beautiful. It's the one I put on my lid today just because it's the one that stuck out the most, but I feel like this one has the most shine, has that most like woofness to it. And then the other two that are like metallic-y would be this one that's called Glitz, and I think Glitz might be like a dual chrome. I believe that that's what it would probably be because it does have a little shift to a pink. not really a dual chrome, just kind of like a shade that has like glitters in it that shift a little. I think that she did consider that a dual chrome, but in my opinion, it doesn't really shift colors. It's just like the little particles inside, the little reflectors inside might have a little peach undertone to them. And Psychedelic, which is beautiful, which is more of a glittery lid topper, but it has pigment to it, which is just absolutely stunning. I really love this one. It's very similar to Glitz. It's not so different. The only difference that you're really gonna see on the lid is that Psychedelic is the only one in here that has so much glitter in it that it kind of just does this glistening, glittery look to the lid, whereas this one has a little bit of glitter, but not as much as this. So those are the metallics. So if you guys see what I'm saying, I think you can pretty much see from the swatches what I'm talking about. But that being said, that makes this palette a very easy to wear palette. It's very easy to wear. So what I want to do right now, before I keep on talking about my thoughts on it, I want to zoom you guys in and show you guys this eye look and how I created it. And then I'm going to give you guys some final thoughts and some comparisons. I'm going to start out with Nude Mauve. And I'm going to put that all on the lid. This is a beautiful transition shade. It is inside of Lila, so I do like it. I've seen it before and I liked it in Lila. I really want to try Go-Go. So this is supposed to be a cream to powder. Let's see how it works. That's extremely pigmented and it feels like it's blending really nicely. So far I'm liking the cream to powder in this one, at least off of that color. So we'll play with some more. Then let's grab a little bit of maybe one of these deeper shades. Let's try Groove. Let's see how deep that is. Let's just add that to the outer edge. I mean, it gave me a nice amount of pigment straight away, so I'm happy about that. I'm just gonna place it where I want it and then I will blend it. That can get very deep. If you continue to add more and more and more, you can get it very deep. And actually I wanted to see how deep I can get it, so we are gonna go a little dramatic with today's look. Actually, you guys even requested that I go a little bit more dramatic. All right, so far so good. Let's put a little bit of, Amara, Nude Mauve. What's an interesting color? Let's put some Andy next to this. So this one has, it's a little bit more of like a purpley tone. So this is gonna make the look a little bit more purple. See, because it has a little bit more like a lilac undertone to it. Let's grab this color called Jude. This is the one that I was the most excited for in this entire palette. Okay, so to kind of blend Jude into the rest of this eye look, I want to grab something that's a little bit burgundy, more burgundy. So I guess what we have is Patty. It's probably the closest. I'm going to grab Patty. Okay, let's grab a little Psychedelic, and I'm just going to put that in the center. Ooh, that added such beautiful glitter. I don't know if you guys can see it. I think I'm just going to put on this bare lid just so you guys can see. Look at that. Do you guys see how much glitter you get out of that? That's a beautiful shade. Wow, I like that. So you could just put that all over the lid and just add a little bit of like a lighter tone, and you could use that could be like a very neutral, very easy to wear look without too much. But yeah, what a pretty color. I like Psychedelic. I think Rebellion is a little bit more reddish tone, so we'll put that on the lower lash line. And let's grab a little bit of Swing and also add that down there. That's looking really, really pretty. I'm going to grab a little bit of Go-Go. Actually, what have I not used here? I haven't used Amara. I kind of know what Amara looks like, but let's use a little bit of Amara because I feel like that's one of the last colors. I mean, I'm putting a lot of colors on the lid, mostly to just test all the colors out. Let's try Amara. Let's put it under the lower lash line. Very pretty, almost like reddish brown. Really nice. Okay, so I don't know how many other colors I can use, but let's grab some Glitz. Why not? I don't think I've used this one. Let's put it in the inner portion of the eye. So here is what the final look is gonna look like. Obviously some liner and lashes, no fake lashes, just mascara. But I think that this is really, really pretty so far. And I will say, I think I used almost all the shades. Did I use like almost all the shades? I think I used almost all the shades. Maybe just not, did I use O part? Maybe just not O part, but I used a lot of them. So I'm finishing up this eye and adding all the color to this eye. Let me go ahead and jump into some of my thoughts. Let me share with you guys some of the stuff that I noticed while using this palette, and then I'll show you guys the final look. Okay, so you guys saw the process of creating the eye. This is the final look. This is how it ended up turning out. I am very, very happy with the results of how it ended up turning out. I love this eye look. It's very dramatic. Some of you guys had asked for more drama in the eye look for today. Really wanted me to test out the pigmentation of this guy, and I am happy with the eye look. Another thing I'm gonna mention to you guys, what I'm kind of very happy with, is I like the versatility of this palette. And I'm gonna say versatility not in color direction, more in the way that you can play your looks. You can do looks that are very, very calm for the daytime, very calm. Like this first row right here is literally retro to me. Like I see mini retro in this first row. I think as it continues down is where it lost me a little bit for the mini retro, but this first row reminds me so much of mini retro. So you want those really subtle, like kind of like everyday, very easy eyes. This top row gives it to you, and you just need a little bit of one of these deeper shades in the outer edge if you want it to be a little dramatized. And then as you continue to go down, this is where you get like the drama. You can create more dramatic eyes. And this color story is very up my alley. This is different from the Love palette that went pinky and purple and a little bit too saturated. This is more of my color story any day over the Love palette. I did not like the color story of the Love palette. So I actually really, really like color story. I think the formulation in here is very consistent. So now one of the other things that you guys had asked is this really a good companion to the Glam palette? So the Glam palette looks just like this. So if you guys can see, this is a very cool tone, more on the brown side with a little bit of like those silvers. And I think that they will be very good companions. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes when I was playing with this palette, if you wanted to play up the look a little bit, you can do like this really deep brownish color and mix it with a lot of the colors in here and create a really, really beautiful smoky eye. If you were creating a smoky eye and you wanted to add a little bit of mauve and a little bit burgundy in, do I think that they're like the perfect companion palettes? I don't think that they're perfect for each other, but I definitely think that they can work together and they can be interesting together. But you might have to have a little bit of an eye for it. So that's what I can say about the Glam palette. But I actually would like to play with it with the Glam palette a little bit just to like verify that. But looking at it, I think I can come out with some really cool looks incorporating some of the colors from Glam. Some of you guys were concerned that these two mauve shades would look the same, and in pan they do. But because this one is her creamy matte, it applies more like a reddish tone than it actually applies like a deep burgundy. I wish it was more like the color in this pan, like if it was really that color. Now the good thing is this color here that looks a little bit more red when you apply it actually looks more plum deeper on the lid. You got a reddish mauve and you got more like a deep burgundy. I guess that's a better description. It's a deep burgundy color. I like this palette. I think that there's a lot of directions I can take it, and I really, really want to play with it. It is not what I expected when I thought of retro. I can see portions of mini retro in here. It's not what I was expecting, but I am very happy with it. I think it's beautiful and I like the quality of it. And if she is continuing this retro and she creates a greenish tone palette that could combine with this one, I will be extremely happy. So now let's get into some comparisons because you guys wanted to know all of these comparisons. You guys know I do my Makeup Your Mind, and I told you guys that I thought it was going to be the baby of Naughty Nude and New Nude, and that is exactly what it is. It is the baby of these two. So let me start off with comparisons to Naughty Nude because this is the most comparable palette. This palette, Naughty Nude, looks very similar swatched to the retro. So if you did purchase the Naughty Nude from Huda Beauty, you have have something very similar in your collection already, now would be the time that you would do something like me, which is that I like Natasha's formula better than this palette. So I'm happy to have it in Natasha's formula. But I will say, just based off of the swatches, it is very similar to this one. You're not getting all the colors, and you're not going to get like the perfect dupe. But when you put this on your eyes and you start blending colors together, these two palettes can probably create almost the same looks. There is some unique shades in this palette, but a majority of them are kind of like overlapping. So definitely wanted to point that out. When it came to the new nude, I feel like I was able to find a lot of the lighter shades in the new nude. There was a similarity between these two as well. But one of the things that I will point out is the new nude did go a lot more pink. So as I started getting into more of the mauve tones is where I kind of started losing the new nude. So in my opinion, it is a lot closer to the naughty nude, even though you can find some of the colors in the new nude. But I think if I would say if you have the new nude, you have this palette, I wouldn't go that far. I would say the new nude has some colors that are inside of the retro, but it's not like you get a lot. I know the new nude, and I know that a lot of the looks turn very pink. I can tell you that the looks do not look like they're going to turn pink with this one, so they're going in different directions, but there's some similar colors. So then you guys actually asked for these two palettes, and I looked at them. It's not very similar to the Mini Love. The only color that is similar in this palette is this one right here. It's basically almost the same color as this color right here, Andy. So when you swatch them, if you guys can see, this is the Mini Love and this is Andy. That's the only color from this palette that looks similar. The rest of them, not really. When I looked at the Mauve Obsessions from Huda, this one had a similar idea, but it wasn't there either, so I didn't actually swatch it because as I was trying to get colors off of it, I was actually having a hard time like just finding anything, so I said, I guess they're not really that close. Now the other one, now this one, if I leave out, you guys are gonna get so mad because I got so many questions about Modern Renaissance. And you know, you guys were right on this one. This one actually did have a little bit more similarity than I saw. I personally would not say that if you have Modern Renaissance, you have this palette 100%, but you have some of the main characters. But what you're really missing is that Natasha Denona's metallic formula is stronger than the Modern Renaissance. The Modern Renaissance, some of these metallics were just very, very light. And you're not getting like that glitteriness, or you're not getting like the Jude color. There's like stuff lacking from Modern Renaissance. And I personally would say that even though there was some colors similar, since I know Natasha's formula and I know the colors that were missing from Modern Renaissance, I feel like this one is worth it still to get. So that is my opinion, and those are all the comparison swatches. I tried my best to do all of the ones you guys are asking me to do, so I hope I got them all. But I think you guys know from this review that I like this. I think it's very consistent. I like the formula. These are my kind of colors, so I will be excited about something like this. If this was like a real purple palette, I may not be jumping up and down, but I like this color story because I like this color story. Maybe I don't love that it's called retro, but because there's going to be more retros, I don't care that much anymore. So now I'm okay with it. Now I'm okay with it, especially since she said that she heard us. So yeah, I think it was a great palette, and I definitely think it's worth picking up. I will have it linked down below. And a big thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. I keep looking at this necklace in the monitor, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. So if you guys want to shop anything from Ana Luisa, I will have the link down in the description box, and you can save some money with Christina Brooke 10. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.